Now, here's what's interesting about Alex Pereira is if you look at the matchups that people are forecasting for his future. So let's say he were to go to heavyweight, which I have some reservations about, but let's say we were to go to heavyweight. Just look at the potential matchups there. And I don't think you can give him a regular dude, not champion. What he's done for in his level of superstardom, I don't think you can give him like a Volkov or a Almeida or a Tiberia or Tai Tuivasa. I just don't. That's not going to do it for where he's at. The level, he's the biggest star in the UFC right now. Take Conor out of it. We know he's massive. I'm just saying, as far as active guys, he's bigger than Jones. He's bigger than Izzy right now. He's the guy, and numerics show that. So I don't think you can just toss him in there with a Pavlovich or Cyril Gane. I think so. It's going to have to be for a belt. It's going to have to be a championship fight. So if he were to move to heavyweight, he would fight Aspinall. If Aspinall beats Curtis Blades, right? Let's say he does, for argument's sakes. And he's the favorite. So let's say the odds are right. Aspinall wins in Manchester and beats Curtis Blades. So you do an Aspinall versus Alex Pereira. Pereira's an underdog there. Pretty sizable underdog, right? Mm-hmm. So with UFC, to me, the UFC, what they do with Pereira next is it has to be so well thought out. Now, can he beat any of these guys? 100% he can. I'm saying from an odd standpoint, the UFC is in a tough predicament because no matter what you do, he's an underdog for a reason. He's an underdog. So if he goes to heavyweight, Aspinall. Can he knock him out? Yeah. He weighed 230 pounds after weigh-ins. So if he was at heavyweight, he doesn't cut. Say he's 235-ish, 237. Pretty good heavyweight size. That's pretty damn good. Against Aspinall, he's an underdog. So if you don't go Aspinall, and let's say Jones, this poor Aspinall. Let's say Jones beats Stipe, which he's a heavy favorite. Does Jones stick around and you do Jones and Alex Pereira? Your biggest fight would be Jones, Alex Pereira. If they're, right now, if Jones wins, you have the UFC has their straight undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, John Jones, who was light heavyweight champion of the world, the GOAT, and you have Alex Pereira there. Alex would be an underdog. So if he's at heavyweight, whether it's Aspinall or Jones, he's a dog. If he stays at light heavyweight, what are our options? Ankalaev. He's a dog. He's a dog there. No matter who he fights, he's an underdog. But this is what, makes legends when you're an underdog. People say, he can't grapple. I think you'd be surprised. I saw even Jones talking about Alex, and he's like, just take him down. What if you don't, though? Question for the viewers out there, listeners, and for the people in this room. If Yuri and Jones were to fight after Jones beat Stipe in November, let's say they fought in February, March of 2025, and Alex knocked out John Jones in the first round with a left hook. Possible. Is Alex the greatest of all time?
Yes.
Yes. Chin?
I mean, if you knocked out John Jones, of course, dude. I'm trying to think of anyone else that's plus three belt. That's never happened in the UFC, right? So
be a 3-belt champion. Shortest amount of fights to get, what he's doing. Yeah. I mean, the only thing is the body of work of John and the level of guys he fought to not only remain the light heavyweight champ, but also the come up. Like, he fought everybody. Like, the whole body of work is wild. So would you just throw that to the side? Because remember, John's also older. But Alex isn't young. He turns 36, 37 today, I think.
That's what I was going to say. The argument hinges on if you believe that John Jones today is still in some form of his prime. If you believe he's past it.
He's past it. I mean, he's still, John past his prime is still better than 99.9% of the roster. So there's no way he can say, no, he's just as good when he was 27. Now you're out of your fucking mind. So it's a kind of a watered down version of him. I think we don't know how good John is at heavyweight, even if he mops the floor with Stipe. I saw a stat, now that Andrei Arlovski retired.
Well, he's kicked out of the UFC, but I'm not.
Well, yeah, he's out of the UFC. Stipe hasn't fought a guy that's still signed under the UFC. He doesn't have one guy on his resume who's still active in the UFC. So if John beats him, an older Stipe, what do we find out about John at heavyweight? I don't know.
We need to see the Aspinall fight.
The Aspinall fight, we know exactly where he's at. Or Curtis Blades, you know exactly where he's at. Sorgan, we found out, no, we don't know. He looked out of shape. It's a perfect matchup. And if you're the UFC, if you're gonna risk Alex Pereira, who's your biggest star, right? If you're gonna risk him being your biggest star, wouldn't you rather him, if he would, the risk to reward here, wouldn't you rather him lose to the greatest of all time, John Jones, at heavyweight, and then go, yeah, it's John Jones. He's going back to light heavyweight. Or, let's say it's competitive. You go, yeah, he's going to fight Tom Aspinall. Or at least you still have options. Because if you give him to Ankalaev and he loses, there's no heavyweight. No, we don't want to see him at heavyweight. He's going to be stuck at light heavyweight. If you give him Aspinall and he loses that, well, the mega fight with John's gone. So I just think if you're in the boardroom and you're Mick Maynard this morning, you're waking up, you're like, all right, he's an underdog in all three scenarios. What's going to be the biggest fight possible? Which is going to, not shoot his balloon down of stardom the most? Like, how can we still, so the fan base still like, yeah, but, it'd be John Jones. You do John Jones, Alex Pereira in 2025 for the undisputed heavyweight title. Now, poor Tommy Aspinall. And I love Tom Aspinall. But I'm saying from a business standpoint, the UFC's probably going, he's an underdog in both. Now, I think he beats Ankalaev. I think he beats him. So they might do that next. That's his best, and odds are to win, to get a win next would be that. But it's going to be so interesting what the UFC, my whole point of all this weird rant is he's an underdog no matter what route they go. If those are the three choices. Now, if Aspinall loses to Curtis Blades, you're not going to do Curtis with Alex. A straight up brutal wrestler who's not a huge name. There's no way. But if Aspinall wins, and if the odds are right, you have your choices are Ankalaev, Aspinall, and John Jones. And I would do John Jones. Because you're giving the dude the first time ever to be a triple champ. And he would be arguably the best fighter ever in combat sports if he beat John Jones. If he knocked out John Jones with a left hook in the first round to become heavyweight champion, and he was middleweight champion. Think about that. He was middleweight champion. He beat Strickland. He beat Izzy. And he was a light heavyweight. Look at his run there. Beat Jan, beat Yeri twice. And then he goes to heavyweight and knocks out John. I don't know if I stick around anymore. Check, please. There's nowhere to go from here. I get if John wants a rematch, can catch these nuts, Other than that, I'm out. Yeah, if he became triple champion, he beat John Jones by head kick, he still wouldn't be more famous than Conor McGregor, but his credentials would surpass, and it would never happen again. And that's the shit I live for. That's why I want him versus John. So you Ankalaev, again, he's an underdog. He loses that one, all the heavyweight stuff out the window. He could go to heavyweight. You give him Rosenstruck, you give him Volkov. Hopefully he wins those fights. But you lose your biggest star. If our biggest star is going to lose, and we can still make him a mega star and do all the media behind it and the marketing, if he loses the greatest of all time, gets taken down and tapped out, all good, baby. Now we go back to light heavyweight. Here's Ankalaev. Or here's Tommy Aspinall now. That's the calculated smart move is John Jones next. And he makes life-changing money.
Like literally next. So he wait out for the Stipe John Jones fight, or hopefully that doesn't happen, then he replaces. Hopefully that's.
You'll be waiting a hot second, aren't
Yeah.
you? But he's been so active, and he likes to be active. This is what you got to appreciate about Alex is he realizes he's 36, 37, and time is of the essence. So he's just down for whatever. And he goes, I got to capitalize while it's hot. Because the fight game, and you're 36. Statistically, this is not the time you get better. He is in some weird world. He's getting better. But for how long? Sometime by next year, could be Cinderella. Turn into a pumpkin, dude. It's not going to be fun. So he wants to capitalize on it. Yeah, they're going to have to make some decisions. They're going to have to make some decisions. Now, Stipe gets hurt. That's 100% your fight. That's what you do. If John beats the brakes off Stipe, it's like a one-round domination. Oh, we doing this in January, Daddy. We're doing this in February. If it's a war act, that messes up problems. Hopefully it's not. Straight up. God, the promo behind that would be so wild. And then what's that mean? Even for John, it's worth the risk. Even for John. Hey, this is the face of the UFC right now. He's the biggest star. You have such a grappling advantage. He's the boogeyman. He's the number one knockout artist in the world. And we're putting all the marking behind him. You're this GOAT. You want one more fight? Here you go. And then John, and it could very well be John goes in there, trips, side control, crucifix, elbow, stops the fight, peace. Oh, that's it? That was the guy who's supposed to beat me? I'm out. Dope story for John, too. It's a win-win.